Alfonso.
Okay, good people of the internet. I feel like the time has come for us to speak. Now, usually, I don't, well,
I'm going to
do
say
videos
I
on
will
games
have
that
a
are
lot
on
of
other
spot
consoles.
kills. I'll be
Actually,
a
I've never
stab.
done that.
So,
But this is different. Now, I don't have gameplay of Tears of the Kingdom or even Breath of the Wild, for that matter, but I still want to talk about this, because this has been
yes.
really annoying me. Okay? And I feel like these people don't know what a DLC is. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you will in a bit. Now, keep in mind that I'm doing this video without a script, so yeah, it's not as professional. I just want to get my word out. I'm not nothing too fancy, okay? So, people have looked at the
We get
Tears
all
of
the
the
lucky
Kingdom
bullets.
trailers,
I mean, like,
and
we could get a bunch
I
of
was blown out
diamonds
of the
too.
water, but they stayed in the shallow water. They said it feels like a
Oh, teal
DLC.
tag.
My problem with this is there's three things. Well, actually, probably more than three. But
Wait,
anyways,
you
my
said.
my first
Wait, you
problem
said
being,
pinky
do
fingers?
you
I thought you said
really
pink.
understand what a DLC is? Okay?
Selling peepees in
Breath of the
Fortnite
Wild had a
has
DLC.
bungers.
It was $20, and basically it added upgrades to the Divine Beasts and some
It does.
cool Master Sword
Therefore, let's invest in it.
trials that you could do. And yeah, the Master Mode. So, it did
Hey,
add some
Packers,
new
this is
gameplay
good.
features, but nothing too special. Not an entirely new game. Okay, now, some people, I've seen comments
Oh, I
saying,
started climbing.
and I will not
I
name the
start.
person, but I
Really
saw it in
stopped
another
climbing the
video talking about
mountains.
the Tears of the Kingdom debate, because I, like you, also use the internet
Oh,
very
the
frequently.
boss just spawned
So,
in.
this person said
I think I got him.
Minecraft was one of the games that apparently had free DLCs. Now, I don't know if I'm reading this wrong. I could be, because I just, I mean, it wasn't really written
Keep
that
up our business because we don't
clear,
have anyone to sell to.
but they said
Wait, what?
Minecraft had free DLC because they update the game a lot and always add new mechanics. What? Okay, DLC stands for downloadable
Wow.
content. And yes, I am aware that you download updates. But here's the thing. A DLC will usually cost money and not change the entire game. Add new mechanics, change how the game can be played. I mean, usually it doesn't do that. And, like, it's usually just a little small thing or maybe even a big thing that players can use. But it's nothing too big, right? Otherwise, it could be an entirely new
Is there
game.
like a mythic pump
This
shot
person
that
says that
nobody
Minecraft
knows?
updates are DLCs. No, they are not. They are updates that are made
They
to the
do?
game.
Does it do
Updates
more damage?
that are made to improve the game or add something really cool to keep the game going, right? Fortnite gets updates every week. That is not a DLC. If it was, everyone would be pumping out DLCs, bro. And Arc DLCs would be happening all the time, and it wouldn't be just limited to the maps. Because first of all, their updates are like hundreds of gigabytes. And second of all, those DLCs are maps. They add new items that can add new mechanics and changes to the game. Again, a DLC. That's usually how a typical DLC will work. Now, I
That's not
know you
true.
guys can disagree with me on this because a lot of people disagree with me on the internet, and it's fine. I just wanted to voice my opinion. I did not want to start an argument. So please, don't start an argument in the comments. Anyways, Tears of the Kingdom is not a DLC. Okay? I have defined a DLC with a few examples. Tears of the Kingdom has underground caves, combining weapons, new abilities. We haven't even seen all of it, okay? Nintendo is not going to show the entire game. There's still probably a lot more that we just haven't seen. Like Breath of the Wild, if you looked at the trailer right now, you wouldn't be thinking that you could be wearing robot armor or riding a robot horse and having the horse teleport to you while you're simultaneously shooting 3 bombs at what looks like a centaur, okay, aka Lionel. So that didn't show up. They saw the ancient arrows, but nothing too big, right? They didn't show all of it, and people were still really hyped for it, probably because there hasn't been another Zelda game in a while, but there also, again, right now, hasn't been another Zelda game in a while. It's been like 5 years, which is a pretty long time. Or actually, 6 years. Anyways, they haven't shown all of it, so it could still be a lot. Like, there could be like an entirely different dimension that's like the upside down of Hyrule or something. Ganondorf is coming back as well. Like, bro, Ganondorf is just... How do you see a new villain and not... Like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I know Ganondorf isn't a new villain, but he's a very important one. And, like, that means that it's a very important thing in the story, and the story is very important. Now, you could say, well, DLCs can also be very important to the story. And you're right. Arc DLCs, the Genesis 2 DLC was the final part in the Arc storyline before Arc 2, right? It's very important to the story. But what I'm saying is, you can't look at all of these mechanics and say it feels like a DLC. You can say it feels underwhelming, but you just cannot say it feels like a DLC when there's factual evidence saying that there isn't, that it isn't a DLC, and that it is an actual new game. Now there's the other problem. People are saying the graphics are the same, the overworld looks the same. Bro, look, the Arc, like, okay, I'm gonna stop using Arc as an example. But the overworld, first of all, isn't the same. They may have added small changes, but look at the Sky Islands. It's like Hyrule in the sky. Like, it's an entirely new area. We don't even know if there's going to be ginormous caves floating in the sky, a castle floating in the sky, bokoblins floating in the sky for all we care. I mean, you could, for goodness sake, there could be an entire village floating in the sky. You could see Hateno Village just go floating up into the sky. And you can actually talk to NPCs and do side quests in the sky. Now, Link's head probably would be a little bit too, you know, his head would be in the clouds. But still, like, it's get your head out of the clouds. Like, literally, the Sky Islands are amazing. They're a new addition. They're also saying that the new enemies look kind of boring. Now, what? I'm very confused. Now, I have heard this. I'm not saying everyone's saying this, but I have heard this at my school. The new enemies aren't really boring. Like, it's basically the same enemies. And also, have you seen the new bokoblins going on the stone talus looking things? Like, that's not a boring new enemy. And then there's the third problem, the price tag. And I've been waiting to talk about this because, oh boy, I will rant for centuries about how stupid it is to be able to complain about the price. And I even talked to my friends about this at school. Like, bruh, okay, just listen. Destiny 2 DLCs cost $130 to pre-order. For my friend, at least. And that was the deluxe edition. But still, $130 just for some cool weapons and a DLC? Come on, man. And they're saying, if the game is basically a DLC, they can't be pricing it at $70, which is $10 up from the original game, minus the DLC, which would be $80 for the game. But anyways, like, what are you talking about? We don't even know if there might be a DLC added to that or not, so it might not just be that. As well as the fact that this is actually, for Nintendo, a pretty low price. Like, the price of Nintendo games are pretty low if you look at Xbox and PlayStation games. Now, I know both consoles, all three of them basically, their games are usually $60. But 70 isn't really that high up of a charge. I mean, it's actually really good compared to other games who released sequels that were way more expensive. I know that this happened. It just, you just know. Like, it's, if you were to go into the PlayStation Store right now, even better if you're on PS5, The Last of Us Part 1 remake, do you know how much that is? That game is $70 for a remake with basically better graphics, better gameplay, and new mechanics.
take the chuck cannon.
It's a remaster of the remaster.
Mine.
And look at Jedi Survivor. It's priced at like $90, and it's an actual like this. This is a sequel. This is a sequel
Alright, does
to
anyone
Jedi Fallen Order.
have a better SMG?
So no one has been complaining about how it's priced at $90. Now you could argue, and you would be absolutely right, saying that, well, that game doesn't look like a DLC. You know, doesn't look like the same game. Again, you're absolutely right. There's new mechanics, and it's really cool. But there's other games. God of War Ragnarok costed at least $60 to $70 as a sequel. Now, people said that that felt like a DLC. Okay? So, there's those things. Like, sequels to games have been priced at way higher. $70 is a bargain compared to how Jedi Survivor can cost $90. And don't even get me started on Halo games. Bro, without the Game Pass, oh man, I'd be sobbing just looking at my bank account. And also, there's another thing. Not only is it upsetting to hear that they're saying, oh, you know, the price is too high because it's $70, even though there's a bunch of other sequels that can cost over $100, and DLCs that will cost hundreds of dollars, or even new games that cost $120. Like my friend bought one of the NBA games for $120. That cost. It was like a deluxe edition or something. And I'm gonna stop ranting on about the price. But there's another thing. Okay? There's the DLC and then a game. Okay? So
No. I just need to get it.
Halo games. Look at Halo games. Look at the Hero Hunter game. Not Hero Hunter. Monster Hunter. Look at the Monster Hunter games. They use the same assets from the PS2 for Monster Hunter like Generations or something like that. And look at the Pokemon games. The Pokemon games. Oh man, don't even get me started on the Pokemon games. They released a bunch of games and they all cost like $60, $80, right? And it's basically the same thing. You catch Pokemon, you will make them fight, you complete a story, you become the hero, blah blah blah. Now each game they do add a few new mechanics, like new Pokemon, of course, new Pokeballs. Hey, wait, just never mind. And you know, they did add like bikes and easier ways to move around. But I mean, look at Pokemon Let's Go. I am not saying it is a bad game, but it's literally just Gen 1 in a like remastered form. No one had a problem with it that I've heard of. I have never heard a single person having a problem with how Pokemon Let's Go is still Gen 1. Okay? And Halo games, oh my god, Halos 1 to 3 had a great storyline. Halos 4, 5, and Halo Infinite, you know, the storylines weren't really that good. But the Halo games had Halo 2 added dual wielding, and PvP as well was added in future Halo games. They had basically the same enemies. They added maybe a few new enemies, new storylines, which are actually great from Halos 1 to 3. After 4, it just felt kind of bland. And Halo 3, again, had the same weapons, new assets, old assets, new maps, kind of the same maps, new ships, old ships, new characters, old characters. I mean, it would make more sense if you called those a DLC than Tears of the Kingdom. And Halos 1 to Halo Infinite, all, you know, they added new mechanics that changed the gameplay. Now look at Tears of the Kingdom. They added new enemies, they added new fortresses, they added new caves, they added new abilities, they added new islands, they added new areas, they added new, like, mechanics. Again, I just said that earlier. They added changes to the map, they added changes to the villages, they added changes, like, improvements. And look at how you can merge weapons and merge items. How does that not change the gameplay at all? Like, you could put a shield on a sword and parry with the sword and then slice them. How does that not change the gameplay, even in the slightest? Okay, no one had a problem with all the Halo games being close to the same. I mean, Halo Infinite had the grappler hook and stuff, and the PvP was improved on, but it's basically all the same thing. It's all the same, and they're like, bro, they have the new enemies, but they have like mostly the same enemies, and they just kind of look different. Bro, grunts in Halo have been here since the first game. The plasma pistol, arguably my favorite weapon, has been here since the first game. What the hell? No one ever complained about how grunts and elites were in the same game. Through all 6 of them
I have chug cannons too.
that I am talking about. There's probably others. But, like, and yes, you can say they were iconic characters. But, that's a stupid argument. Just because, you know, they're original characters and they're kind of iconic, doesn't mean that it's not like, you know, it's not, you can't, basically what I'm trying to say is you can't say that since they're iconic, it's fine if they're kept and you reuse the same assets. Okay? So, just, yeah, no one had a problem with the same Halo games. And Tears of the Kingdom has added way more as a sequel than the Halo sequels did. Mostly, for the most part. Tears of the Kingdom not only has new armor, new characters. Did you see fighting alongside Sidon in the newest trailer? Bro, that was crazy. There's new stuff that you can do. There's new characters new mechanics. There's new areas. I've already stated everything. That's way more than the Halo games. So you can't be saying that it feels like a DLC when so many other games have used like the same assets. And don't even get me started on Final Fantasy. There's like 30 billion other games and they're all basically the same thing. Like, just no.
There's guys on our,
Like, it's not a DLC. How can you say it's a DLC? Just how? What makes you think that?
Someone was lost in storm. Guys, does anyone have a chug
It
cannon ready?
if I'm not gonna try and say anything a little like too offensive, I guess, if you will, because people on the internet, oh man, if you try and say one slightly dark joke, they'll like bust you into jail, bro. People will overreact a lot. But if you say that Tears of the Kingdom looks like a DLC, you're an absolute idiot. And this video is trying to show why you're an idiot. And why you should change your mind about your opinion. But if you don't, it's fine. I mean, it's not, you know, you be you. I mean, you can be however you want to be.
Guys, look.
Well, unless, of course, it's like